Welcome. My name is Minta, if you haven't practiced with me before, and my partner for partner yoga today is my good friend Tim. And this will be a little mini partner yoga series. You're welcome to do the whole practice with us, or you could pick and choose a few poses to try on your own. This is a great practice to do with your kids, to do with anyone in your family, someone you share a household with. I think more than ever we're in a time where we need to invite depth in the connections that we do have and nourishment with those connections. And I feel like a practice like this can be really useful in cultivating that. And just little reminders with partner yoga, it's kind of less about doing a pose perfectly and a lot more about, sharing the experience with the person that you're with. And always asking for consent and always checking in with each other. If I'm not doing that with Tim, he knows that that's the page that we're on. Well, I'll try to remember to, but just continue that throughout the dialogue while you're practicing with your partner. All right, and sometimes it's better if you have somebody around the same height as you, but you'll learn pose to pose when that is more essential and less. So we'll get started back to back. You're welcome to sit on cushions if that feels better in your hips. The two partners could have your legs in any way here, but we're both having them in kind of a traditional cross-legged seat. You can rest your hands anywhere that feels comfortable on your thighs or your lap. Draw the heads of your shoulders away from your heart and get your spine as close as possible to your partner's so that you can begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Just a natural rhythm. And as you focus on your own breath, you may also begin to feel the way your partner is breathing, how they expand on the inhalation and soften on the exhalation. And take this time to perhaps even begin to breathe in sync with your partner. Without force or expectation, just playing with the dance of breath as you sit together. You may also feel the warmth and the heat of being pressed up against this person, the life of this other person. And this can be a great time to also set perhaps a dedication for your practice. And a really good focus or intention could be to bring a sense of gratitude into your heart for your relationship with the person that you are doing this work with. I think we've all experienced that time from a quote that I love, that when our own light has become dim, with gratitude for the people that have relit our light, reminded us of our light, fanned the flame. And how interconnected and interdependent we really are. You could do this for a very long time, but for this short series, we'll take just a couple more breaths. And at the end of your next exhale, slowly open through your eyes. Go ahead and take one person will take their left hand down and the other person will take their right hand down. So you have, I think is this your right hand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you'll bring your right hand down next to mine. Yeah, so you're gonna put your hands side by side outside of your hip here. You can even stack your hands or just touching one another. And then you'll take your opposite arm out to the side, up, and then side bend over to one side. So you just kind of have to choose which side you're going to start first. You can have your fingers interlocked here. And then inhale, reach all the way up. You'll set the other side down. And you can interlock your fingers on the opposite side and go up. And side bend, softening your elbow on the hand that's on the ground. Breathe into the side ribs. And inhale, come all the way back up. Release that down. Then we'll go ahead and turn around and face one another. So you might choose the opposite cross of your legs just to give your legs a different weave here. And getting us close together, knee to knee. And then we'll hold on to each other's arms. We're going to do a little cat-cow differently than the first one I offered. So this time together we'll do cow pose. Inhale, lift the heart, pull the shoulders back. You can even lean back a little through the head. Exhale, curl and round in. Inhale, really use the assist of each other's arms to enhance this movement. One more time like that. And then coming back to neutral after that exhale. And then we'll both take our right hands back behind us, reach our left hands and grab each other's right hand. Take an inhale, lift tall. Exhale, twist. So how does that feel for you?
Okay.
Good.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, so this is a great place to check in because it's a lot of tension that you can create in this twist to revolve deeply. And then slowly unwind through center, release both arms, wrap your left arm back behind you, reach your right arm across, find the connection, lift tall, exhale to twist. How's that for you?
Are you okay?
Good, yeah. And one more breath. And slowly unwind back through center. From here, we'll take our feet out in front of us, kind of scoot back a little bit so that we can use each other to help stand up. So you'll press into your feet and then together, woo, all the way to standing. It's a really wonderful way to come to standing. Great. From here, we're going to do the same pose that I offered in our earlier series this summer, where it's a support or a double down dog. And I'm going to give the more challenging option and then the modified option. So to start, I'll come into the downward facing dog, and then Tim is going to put his feet right at my sacrum and his hands down by my feet. So making an L, so you actually the other direction.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're in an L shape. So it's usually better if you stand down there. And then stepping your feet here. How about you do the down dog? No worries, you do the down dog. So Tim will come in the down. Oh yeah, and then you're right. You were right. I was confused. So you knew what you were doing. Why don't you scoot back a little bit towards the back of the mat? See, we're all learning here.
That's right.
So then I put my hands just in front of his, and then I'm going to bring my feet right at his sacrum. Is that okay? Is that a good spot? Yeah, so I'm making more or less an L shape in my body, and so this is kind of a half handstand, and he's in downward facing dog. Stay with the breath. You can constantly check in with each other. I'm sending my upper inner thighs back, 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 and pressing down firmly through the hands, soften through the neck, and then to come out, I'll slowly step my feet down. Tim can set his knees down. And then actually, why don't you just come right on into child's pose since you're already there. Reach your hands forward, and this time he'll grab a hold of my ankles. So this is a modified variation of that. I can reach forward, bring my hands towards the sacrum. So I'm getting this nice supported, almost down dog effect here. And he's getting a little assist to child's pose. So this is a wonderful variation if that first one feels like not the best choice for your partnership. And after several breaths, you just slowly walk up the spine. And then we'll do that one more time. I'll do the child's pose version so he can experience that nice stretch that we just did.
Up there, okay?
Yeah, totally. And then once you're all done with that, let's go ahead and come into, from here, a version of triangle. So we're gonna stand back to back in a wide-legged position. And this is, so basically your partner here is serving to very similar to how we use the wall often in classes. So I'm gonna turn my left toes in, he'll turn his right toes in. So the leg that we'll turn our toes in on, this will be a back foot. And then this will be our front foot, and we'll spin the foot out. And you don't want to be so close that you don't have room for your bums. So enough room for the tushies. We can take our arms out wide, even interlock our fingers. And then on the exhale, tilt towards that front leg. You could bring your hand to your shin or your thigh. And then we could even weave our palms together so that you press into each other's palms, and it kind of helps to open, spiral the chest more up to the sky. Stay with your breath. You can always have a micro bend in that front knee for more support. How you doing? Great. On your next inhale, press into your back foot. Use that lifted arm to lift you back up. You can release your arms down to pivot your feet. We'll turn the opposite foot forward, back foot in slightly. Take arms out wide, find that connection in the backs of each other's hands. On an exhale, tilt towards the front leg, bringing hand down to shin or thigh. Then we could weave the front of the hands facing each other, the palms, to help spiral chest open towards the sky. Yeah, you? Awesome. Stay with your breath. When it feels like you've been about here for about the even amount of time, press into your back foot. Use that top arm to lift you up. Release your arms. Pivot your feet. Let's heel toe the feet together. Take a neutral pause. So one more very challenging pose, and then we'll come down to another softer pose. So this is a double plank pose. We'll give options for this too. So yeah, why don't you come into plank? So Tim's gonna come into regular plank. You can come towards the top of the mat too, whatever works there. Great. So he's in regular, and why don't you start with your knees down like we did? That's perfect. So he's gonna start with knees down just so he can kind of feel out what feels right today. I'm gonna plant my hands outside of his feet and very gracefully set my backs of my feet. Is that okay right there? On either side of his, right at the top of his shoulders basically. And then as I'm holding plank, he could choose to lift his knees up if that felt okay for him. So why don't you show that option if that feels all right? Yeah, great, awesome. You could stay here for several breaths. Lengthen sit bones towards hamstrings. Broaden collarbones forward. Stay with the breath. And when you're ready to come out, he'll set his knees down again just to give him more stability. And then I can step my feet down one at a time and slowly lift up. Awesome. And then, let's see. Yeah, I think that's good. We'll offer that and just skip it if that feels like a little bit too much. Do you want to do it the other way around, or?
You want to?
Sure, let's do it.
Just do the
So
low
then,
part.
yeah, so I'll just do with my knees down, and then Tim will put his hands on either side of my ankles, and then he can put the backs of his feet right at the shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. So
Just
it's
assume
not that much extra weight for me with the bottoms of the
Yeah.
legs like that. And then everything's feeling good for you. So then I can tuck my toes under, lift my knees, and come into a full plank here too. And you can always keep the knees down. So just being really kind and curious about what feels the most playful and the most supportive at the same time. And when you're ready to come out, bottom person, put their knees down, and top person can step down kindly. And then we'll come back up. And then we'll do a little forward fold variation. So we want to do that one. Let's do the back-to-back one with the
Okay.
wide-legged.
Oh, the wide-legged one first?
Yeah, so we'll do wide-legged. So we're coming again into that wide-legged pose with a little bit of space between us here. We don't need to be right up against each other, but it kind of all depends on your flexibility too.
Right.
Yeah. And then once you're wide-legged, you can slowly come forward. You could bring your hands to blocks or to your fingertips. And then we're gonna reach through and find a connection with each other's arms. So we can use that little pulling in to find a deeper stretch here. You can always bend your knees and relax the crown, relax the neck. Yeah, little wiggle wiggle. And then slowly release that. Walk your fingertips forward so you lift your spine halfway. Put a little bend in your knees and bring your hands onto your hips and lift up. And let's heel toe the feet back together again. Great. All right, and then from here, I think we'll lower down and do some more floor.
Do the forward fold into this deal.
Yeah, oh yeah, so we can do that one too, just kind of the neutral forward fold. So this one, it's nice to just measure that your hands kind of come to your shoulders. So we're in a halfway lift essentially here. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Why don't we both bend our knees actually for a moment? Send your sit bones back, 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 and then slowly straighten out through the legs. So you get that length to your spine. This is a great place to offer a little massage at the shoulders. And when you're ready to come out, sliding your arms so that you can use each other's support to come all the way up. And then we'll come down kind of the same way that we did earlier. So we'll use the support of each other's hands and slowly sit into our chair. Great, and then this pretty much already sets us up for Navasana boat pose variation. That's always a favorite, especially in my kids' class. So if you have children, wonderful place to be. So you're gonna come not too close, but close enough that your toes can touch and you can reach each other's arms. And then we'll choose to take one side, one foot sole to sole up first. Start with bent knees, and then the other sole to sole. So, you know, you can see it's a little crunchy. We could choose to straighten our legs here if we wanted to. Sometimes that brings a little bit more space.
Okay.
And before we move forward, let's actually give the option of releasing the hands, and you can put your hands back behind you, and this could be a fun place to play. And even just bend the knees or relax or straighten the legs. So this is a wonderful option. Otherwise, let's see if we can reconnect our hands. And then from there, we could bend our knees and see if we can bring the legs to the outside. Woo! It's a lot of work. And then we'll try to cross our hands. So I'm gonna take my hands across so that we can open into a twist. This is what we call sailboat in kids yoga. And then we'll cross back across, find the other hand, sailboat. And then come back through center, just find a connection, and then slowly set our legs down into a wide-legged position here. If you need to adjust at all, you can. Then we'll kind of keep that cross, holding on to opposite arms, reach up. I think it's both of our left arms though. And then exhale into a lateral stretch. I love some of these poses, have a nice flow to them. And then inhale, rise up. Again, find a cross, release right arm, and oh. And inhale back up through center, releasing arms down. From there, you could bring your hands to the backs of your knees, help close your legs back together, collecting a bunch of little twigs with it. And then we'll just do a little bit of reclined hip movement before we come down into a rest. So we're both gonna lie down so that we have a little bit of space. We may end up having our feet on the dirt a little, or our head on the dirt. And then we're gonna have our soles feet to feet, and we can just do a little like bicycle pedaling. So what's really fun here is if you let one person lead, I'll have Tim lead first so then I can talk. And I just let my legs follow, whether we're doing circles or going in more of a traditional bicycle movement. Staying with your breath. And then after a few moments of Tim leading, I could take over and lead a little bit, adding my own stretch of curiosity. And this can be a really challenging practice to explore being both the leader and the follower. So we're typically a little stronger or a little bit more comfortable at one versus the other. Then after a few moments of that, pause with your knees bent about above your hips. Take your one side, so I'll say this side, wiggle my toes, and cross that ankle across the knee of the opposite side. So we're doing a little figure four. This is my favorite variation of this pose, whether it's Tim or the wall that my right foot is at. And then you can press your hand into your left, or your hand into the knee that's opening the hip there, so you can add a little more resistance, a little bit more opening. And then optional here, and we'll get nice and dirty with the twigs. So take your arms out to a T and let your legs fall to the side so that your outer hip and the sole of your foot come down. So we're in a twist, and many of you have done this in class before. Let yourself take that kind of wonky hip twist. And then a nice little core exercise on an exhale, lifting the legs back up through center. Unwind your legs, find the connection of your opposite foot, and then release the other side. Get that hip stretch. You could flex at the ankle of the lifted foot. slow and steady breaths in and out through your nose. And then when you're ready, take your arms out like a T and let your legs fall to the other side. And on an exhale, strong through core, lift legs back up through center. Release the legs. This time you can let both feet come down. And easy coming into Shavasana here is to just shift your hips to the right. So both of you shift to the right and your legs can rest alongside of each other. You could always choose to just snuggle up on the couch or do any other form of rest together, just giving yourself time to integrate, to soften, to appreciate. And once again, to perhaps return to that sense of gratitude, interconnectedness, interdependence that we have with one another. How nourishing, how powerful it is to experience connection with another person, whether they're close to us or not. And after you've spent a few moments in rest, we'll shorten this just for the case of the video, but you could take a longer one if you wanted. You can find your way up, rolling your way up, rising up. And then you could sit and bring your hands to heart center. Take a long breath in through your nose. Exhale, bow to your own heart. Namaste. You could turn and bow to your partner. Namaste. Thank you all so very much for sharing this practice with us. Ask any questions, reach out if you have any curiosities, and I hope to offer more of this in the future. Thanks so much.